In this video, I wanted to talk about verifying trig identities. So oftentimes when you are asked to verify trig identities, it will usually be some type of equation where the left equals the right. And what we're really trying to prove is to make the left look like the right, to prove that it is true. So here's just one example that you might be given. And what I always say is to have your trig identities list or reference sheet or whatever you have, whatever you use, have it right in front of you so that you can kind of quickly peruse and look through all the trig identities to see which one might be easiest. Oftentimes with verifying these trig identities is there will be multiple paths. Some are easier, some are just the same. What I often say too is that if you find yourself going down kind of a rabbit hole where it's taking a long time, maybe try a different method. And one method I often try to start with is I kind of look at where we're headed, obviously. So I make the left look like the right. But what I will often try first is to start with changing to sine and cosine. Those are mostly the identities that we know. So I'm going to start with the left. I kind of ignore the right for a second, and I start with the left and I think, okay, secant all by itself, if you didn't know this already, I say that cosine goes with secant because what I say to myself is cosec goes together, and I call this since, which is cosecant. Sine goes with cosecant, and cosec goes together. That's just how I remember it. You may have another method of remembering, but those two go together. And what that means go together is that cosine equals the reciprocal of secant, 1 over secant. And sine equals the reciprocal of cosecant. So since and cosec. So that's how I remember those identities. But again, if you are allowed a reference sheet, those will always be on there. And I would say either print one off of the internet. I will link a great trig quick reference below from Amazon. That's like $6. It's a great one to have on hand. So we'll start with the left. Secant, I know, is 1 over cosine. Then I know I immediately see tangent, and one of the reciprocals is tangent is the same as sine over cosine. So this is looking really good so far. I have the same denominator. And then this is just sine x. We could separate these and say this is sine x over 1, but we know that when I multiply that, it just becomes cosine in the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave that as sine x, and this could really be the same part of the same fraction. So I'm going to keep going with my left side, and I'm looking here to see that I have the same denominator. And whenever you have two fractions or even one fraction that you start with, it is often you will need to find common denominator if you don't have it already. So that's another trick, is to combine fractions so that you have common denominator and you can combine it into one fraction. And this is a good indication too that we're leaning towards a fraction over here. So I'm looking here and I see sine and sine. That could easily become 1 minus sine squared, because I look at these two denominators, like we said, I want to combine into one fraction. And just as a real quick review, right, if I had 2/3 plus 5/3, all I'm doing is common denominator. I'm adding the top or subtracting the top in our case. So that quick example would be 7/3. I just add the top and I keep the same denominator. So same thing applies here. I'm just adding the top, combining the top, and I would keep my same denominator. So if we look at our reference sheet, or if we remember one of the main identities, 1 minus sine squared is the same as cosine squared. So this top becomes cosine squared, and then we still have our bottom. So I know that cosine squared is the same as cosine times cosine. So one of those cosines would cancel out with the bottom. So I am left just with one cosine x in the top. And we know with our identities, cosec, cosine goes with secant. So cosine equals 1 over secant. And that was our right-hand side. So we did in fact verify that the left equals the right. So that was one example. Let's do one more with some more identities. So here's another example. If we were given cosecant squared, this time we'll use theta. So whatever the variable is, it doesn't matter. It's like an x, it's just the variable, and we can just use that same variable throughout. It may be tricky one time or sometimes that if your teacher shows in a different variable, we have to keep those animals separate. So if we were to happen, this doesn't often come up, but tangent of x does not equal tangent of theta. That would be two different variables. So, but if everybody's using the same variable in one problem, then it's just all the same variable. We can use all of our identities just as we would normally. So if this is an example that we're trying to prove, again, we just want the left to equal the right, or to show that the left can be equal to the right or look like the right. So I'm going to ignore the right-hand side for a second, and I'm going to start over here on the left-hand side. So I'm looking here and thinking to myself, okay, cosecant, like we just said, since cosine goes with cosecant. And same thing, if they are squared, it would be the same thing. So if we were to say 1 over sine equals cosecant, and if I squared that, that would still just be 1 over sine squared, because 1 times 1 is just 1. So we're going to say, so if this is cosecant, cosecant squared, right, inside the parentheses would be 1 over sine. So cosecant squared here just equals 1 over sine squared. So I'm just going to replace that one little part of the equation with 1 over sine squared. So this little bit is the same as 1 over sine squared of theta. Now I think about tangent, I'm already headed towards sine and cosine. That's always a good direction, is to switch to sine and cosine, because those are the ones we know the most. So tangent squared would be the same as sine over cosine. That's one of our identities. And if we were to square it, that would just be square the top, square the bottom. So that would be the same as sine squared of theta on top and cosine squared of theta on the bottom. So that is that little chunk that we have replaced, and we're going to keep the -1 for now and see where we end up. So here I know that I have, if I'm multiplying fractions, right, same thing. If I had 2/3 times 5/3, I just multiply the top and I multiply the bottom. But if I have the same, so in that real quick review, that would be 10/9. Not a great fraction, but that would be how we do multiplying fractions. So same thing here, I just multiply straight across. 1 times sine squared is still just sine squared. So in that case, I would have sine squared over sine squared cosine squared. These two sine squareds obviously would cancel out. So in this case, I would just have 1 over cosine squared, because he's still on the bottom. 1 over cosine squared minus 1. And then I know that going back, it kind of is like we went forwards and backwards, but still 1 over cosine I know goes with secant. So this can be replaced just with secant squared, because we know that 1 over cosine is the same as secant, or cosine is the same as 1 over secant. They are the reciprocals of each other. So we could think about that if we were given this, right? That's where we started. It would be like 1 over secant. And if you remember, keep, change, flip, or I can multiply. Instead of dividing by a gross fraction, I can multiply by its reciprocal. So that would be kind of the long way around to get that. But same thing, if this is squared, this would be squared. If this is squared, this would be squared. So here we had 1 over cosine squared that is the same as secant squared because of that reciprocal identity. So now we just have secant squared minus 1. And if you look at your reference sheet or remember your Pythagorean identities, this is the same as tangent squared. That is an identity. So immediately we have proven, and if your teacher prefers you to write tangent squared equals tangent squared. So that way you can verify that yes, in fact, the left does equal the right. So that is verifying trig identities. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments below.